Hello, and welcome. Hopefully, this is going live. Zoom sometimes works, streaming live to Facebook, and sometimes I have to go directly into Facebook. So, welcome. If you're watching the replay, then give me a hashtag replay. It looks like I can see myself in the Facebook group. Let me just check on my phone. And then I can get started with today's training, which is all about your never ending lead machine, which is kind of the whole point of marketing, right? You want leads and you want sales. So how can we use Facebook to give us more leads and make more sales? That's the whole point of this program. And what we've been doing so far is building up to that and to give you a kind of idea. So hello, Craig and Anne and Dave. Who else? Say hello so I know that you're here. And then also what I can do is I can incorporate you into the training so that we use real life examples with your actual businesses rather than just what most people do, which is create a course full of airy fairy examples, and then you get stuck and you think, well, how does that apply to my business? If you're here live with me, then you can tell me what you do and I can apply the examples that I use with you so that you can actually see how they fit. So hi Mary, thank you so much for watching. Right, let's just bring up this so I can see myself and see you guys as well. Hello. Hi Anne, I'll give you a heart if I could. Okay, so just so you know, this is being recorded. She says it is being recorded. So when I finish the training today, it will go into your members area. Some people have accessed their members area already and some people haven't. So what I will do is I will create another post in this group so that you can create your login if you haven't. And if you have already created your login, or even if you haven't, then what you can do is go over to the left or up, depends whether you're on mobile, you'll go up left if you are on desktop, and you will be able to find where it says the FB Foundations program. And underneath there will be a section for each one of the trainings and also all of the coaching calls as well. And I'm also going to put them into the Facebook group. So there will be in units, again, left on desktop, up on mobile, you'll be able to find the unit section, and each recording of the training will be under a separate unit and the coaching calls will be in there too, plus the homework and any like additional. So let me just adjust this. I'm on, I moved house this weekend, so let me know what you've been up to. I moved house. This is pretty much like the only section of the house that hasn't got stuff all over it. The lighting isn't ideal. I don't have my microphone. I don't have any lighting. I've literally just got windows. So to anyone who tells you you need all your stuff, or if you ever think you need all your stuff ready before you go live, no, you don't. You just need either your phone or your laptop, your desktop, and you just go live and talk and teach. And yeah, you don't need all the stuff, trust me. So what am I going to talk to you about today? I want to bring together what we've done so far. So far we've covered making sure that you've got your sales process down, like you know how you're going to sell, you know what you're going to sell, you know who you're going to sell to. You need all those things into place. Because if I teach you how to build a massive audience, or I teach you how to get a ton of leads, or all that kind of good stuff, well, does it really matter if you don't have something to sell them or something that you're doing with them, whether you're putting them into an email nurture sequence, or whether you're directly selling to them, or you're trying to fill your webinar, or you're trying to fill your diary with bookings of clients, or you're booking your diary full of weddings to go and photograph. If you don't know where you're trying to get the person to, it doesn't matter how many people are on the front end, because you're not taking them anywhere. And that's why we spent some time already in the previous training going through where we are leading someone. So what I'm going to do now is teach you how to create a never-ending lead machine, because that is exactly what your social media should be. You should find your inbox full of messages. When you wake up in the morning, you should have had messages overnight, during the day, from people asking to work with you, asking how to work with you. You should find that people are joining your email list just from social media, and you should be making connections all the time of the right kind of people, the kinds of people that you want to be marketing to. So how does that sound to you? Are you excited to create your own lead generating machine? Yes, you are. Of course you are. So I'm going to keep my comments up. So if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone, because that's where I've got the comments. So if you want some little cheats, just model what I'm doing when it comes to comes to live video, be live on your desktop if you can, and have your phone for your comments. Because if you're on desktop, a lot of the time you won't see the comments, they won't scroll with you. But if you're live on your phone, then you should be able to see them. Just make sure you're scrolling to keep up with people. And we'll get to live video because I'm going to do a special session just about live video, because it's probably, if not definitely, the single most important thing that you could be doing on social media. It's how you found me. Probably you probably saw one of my live videos, or maybe it was a replay of a live video, because I don't do recorded videos, I do everything live for lots and lots of reasons. But I'm going to do a very special session with you all about live video so that you can incorporate that into your machine, because it's the cheapest, the fastest, the quickest, the most real, the most authentic way that you can grow your audience, and you can make sales as well. So it deserves its own session. But first of all, before I start plowing all of those people into your world, I want to make sure that you've got your, what I like to refer to as your social media profile funnel set up. Now, I talk about how to do this on Facebook. It still applies on every other social media platform. So I had a conversation probably a couple of months ago now with a LinkedIn expert, and I talked about the exact same tactics and strategy that I'm going to talk about with you, with that person, because it applies to LinkedIn too. And they had this light bulb moment of, oh my gosh, I never realized that before. So before, they were making everything very secret, and they were making all these changes in the back end and then hoping that people read it. And I explained that if you make everything, if you try and make as much as possible public so that lots of people see it, you can actually use the social media platforms. You can use their own post reach and all of their own things to actually get people seeing your stuff much more easily than if you just rely upon people happening across your profile. It's a bit like I'll give you like a scenario. So if you had a website already and you just put a website up and just hoped that people would find you, let me know in the comments, realistically, is anyone just going to stumble upon your website? Or if you put a shop in the middle of the street, you had a brick and mortar store, and you didn't center or downtown or anything, you just put a store in any street, do you think the right customers for you are just going to happen upon you? Probably not, right? You've hopefully put no in the comments. So people aren't just going to stumble upon your website, your store, or your social media profile. You have to find ways of bringing them in. Now, once they stumble upon you, you want them to do a certain thing. You want them to take a certain action. You want them to follow your sales process. That's why we spent some time doing it, so to map that out. And we want to get them in the top end of that funnel. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about ways of getting people into your funnel, your sales funnel, whatever that process is. It doesn't have to be a funnel as such, but it helps. So if you have a free thing, a really valuable content piece that you give away for free, then you have that as the starting point of your funnel. We talked about this last week with Dave, and he's a wedding photographer in this group. And we came up with the incredibly valuable posing guide. All brides want to look beautiful on their wedding day. And so when Dave creates a posing guide for his potential brides, what's going to happen is that when somebody comes across his social media profile, they're going to see that posing guide, the advert for the posing guide. It's literally going to be some images on your profile funnel, and they are going to click on it because it's going to be super interesting to that potential bride to find out how to pose, and then she is in Dave's world. So you've got to come up with something that's really juicy and punchy. Now, again, I'm going to do a separate training session on how to do that. So what I'm going to do for you today is we're going to talk about the overarching strategy behind having your profile funnel. Your homework is to go away and implement that to make sure you've actually got it set up. Because people tell me they know this stuff and yet they still haven't set it up, because yes, I check. So don't think you're going to get away with just saying that you've done the homework. I am going to look to see if you've done the homework. And at the end of the day, it's on you. You're the one that you're hurting if you don't do this. Now, what you need to be thinking about is the fact that your profile is basically your calling card to the world. So when you are posting on social media, posting on Facebook, posting on your newsfeed, people are going to see something that's interesting. It's going to catch their eye. and they're going to do what we all do. They're going to start stalking you. So they're going to go on to your social media profile, your Facebook profile. They're going to click on your face and go to your profile. And then hopefully there's going to be other interesting stuff on your profile that's going to catch their eye and it's going to hook them in. So it's all about being interesting to your ideal client, which is why you have to spend time figuring out who that person is, so you then know what is going to catch their attention in a way that it leads to the thing that you can actually help them with. So you might have a really great idea for a lead magnet or some great ideas for social media posts, but if that's not going to attract the right person, or if it's not going to attract the right person who actually wants to solve a problem that you can solve, then it's a waste of time. There's no point growing an audience just full of people who are the wrong people or who you can't help. And I see so many people teaching about growing your audience with bots and hacking hashtags. So just putting a random vegan hashtag in your Instagram post. Right, you might reach a lot of people, people might start following you, but are they the kind of people who are going to spend money with you? Are they the people that you can actually help? Because if they're not, you're not helping them and you're not helping yourself. Because what happens when you fill your audience with the wrong people, and then you start posting the stuff that you actually want to post, and those people ignore you because they're not your people in the first place, is you're hurting yourself. Because Facebook looks at your post and says, well, out of all the people that already like this page, most of them have just ignored it. Well, this person can't be very relevant. So you want to fill your audience with the right people in the first place. And the way you do that is to post stuff that's interesting to them, been knowing them and figuring out what their problems are, and then making sure that those are the problems that you can solve. So you're in groups, you're posting, you're answering questions. Another really easy way to hack the system. You're answering questions. People are then going to click on your face. They're going through your profile. You have to have your profile set up so it draws people in. So think about it as I said, as your calling card. Your header cover image on your profile is probably one of the first things somebody sees because it's behind your head. So if you go and look, don't do it right now because you're watching me, but if you, when I'm done, you go and look at a profile, you will see this big circle of somebody's profile picture, which needs to be your face, because people are people. We're humans. We connect with other humans, and so face, head and shoulders as your profile photo. Not something really, really far away, because then you're really, really small and you won't get attention. Not a caricature of yourself or someone else, not a cat photo, nothing but your face and your head and something that looks appealing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean sexy, it means appealing, something that's going to appeal to your ideal person. And let's face it, at the end of the day, your ideal person is somebody who likes you for who you are. So have it as a photo that looks like you. I don't want, sorry, I'm smashing the table in my rantingness. I don't want to see photos of you that look like you 20 years ago, or you on your slimmest day ever when maybe you've put on a few pounds. I'm not saying just take a photo that's any old rubbish photo, but what I am saying is people want to be able to recognize you. They might not know that they want to recognize you, but when you walk into a room at an event and everybody comes up to you because you look like your photo and they know who you are, that's when you know your social media is doing its job, because it's basically putting you in front of people and making you become famous, become known. And you have to have a photo that looks like you, that genuinely represents you, for people to be able to recognize you in the street. So don't worry about this one. Don't go out and go and get a load of professional photos done. Just, if you have nothing that you think suits, get a nice plain wall behind you and some nice lighting. So maybe a nice window. I apologize for the fact that it's going to keep dipping in and out here. It's so bright from the windows in here. And I don't have another light because I've just moved and I've not set everything up yet. But have a nice natural light, or go outside and find a nice plain background and just take a photo. Smile, because naturally we are all drawn to smiles. If you think about a tiny baby, you smile at them, they smile back at you. Why? Because it is inbuilt into our DNA to respond well to a smile, because we think that a person smiling is a nice person and we smile back. So if you're smiling in your profile photo, then other people will respond well. It's inbuilt into our DNA. So no grumpy photos, no like looking away or anything like that. I want to see a nice representative you, happy, smiling person. If that's you, if you're really, really, really miserable all the time, You're probably not following me anyway. I don't attract miserable people into my audience, but just try and make it a happy photo rather than anything. You can do occasional quirky ones, that's great. But at the end of the day, you want a photo that people are going to recognize if they saw you in the street, because there's no point making somebody else famous. You're making yourself famous so that people recognize you, so they come up to you, so they feel like they've already got a connection with you. It's the whole point. The whole point of social media is to build the connection before you even meet someone, so that when you do meet them in the flesh, they feel like they already know you. And maybe you're never going to meet these people in the flesh, but what you will do is develop a relationship that's just like if you had met them in the flesh. So, you know, if you've ever been to a networking meeting, maybe like a breakfast meeting, a BNI meeting, there are tons of them, local business networking meetings, and you go there and you meet a load of people and you forget most people. And then you go for coffee with a few, and then you go for a coffee again and a coffee again. And then like 3 hours later of wasted time, you both realize that you're not for each other. It's a bit like dating. And then you either do business or you don't. But you've taken all that time to get to know someone. How about if you could shortcut that? That's what social media is for. Okay, so you can shortcut the 3 hours of coffee with one person into you just doing some social media posting to many people. So you can build your audience full of people that actually are the right people for you, but just being you. So that's kind of like the whole point of today, is to really get you to embrace being you, your natural, authentic, real self, and portraying that on social media. So we start off with our profile photo, and then we have our cover image on our profile with whatever that really juicy thing is. So if you've got a webinar coming up, promote it on your cover image. If you've got some, like, if you've got things that are really important to you as a business, as a person, and whatever you stand for, have that represented in your cover image, because this is your banner to the world of who you are and what you represent, whether that's in your business. And it is like a billboard. So you need to, whatever you've got coming up, whatever your thing is, whatever your way you're getting people in, that needs to be represented in your cover image. Now, I am going to, after this, so you don't get distracted, I am going to post a cheat sheet. I have got images of several people, of different people, different personalities, different millionaires and not millionaires, but people who have done this pretty well. So where they've got their cover image, a nice profile photo, and they've got links, which we'll get to, all set up so that when I'm going to teach you how to get them to happen upon you. When somebody happens upon you in social media, hopefully you're still there because my internet connection apparently is unstable. Oh, the joys of moving. So when someone happens upon you on social media, we want them to then be taking the right action, which is the action you've decided you want them to take, whether that's get them into your email list, whether that's to get them to pick up the phone and have a call with you, or to book in a call with you on your scheduler, whether it's Acuity or Calendly or whatever it is. You want to be getting someone into your world, and you do that using your profile. So you've got your picture, you've got your cover image. I just touched upon it, having links to your thing in your profile. Now, I can't share with you right now. I'm going to give another try, actually, just in case. It wasn't working before. I wanted to share with you so you could see what I mean. Because obviously me talking is great, but me showing is even better. So let's see if this is going to work. Aha! Yes, awesome. Okay, so it is now sharing with you. Okay, so this is my profile on desktop. Bear in mind, it's going to look different on desktop than it does on mobile. Let's see if I can show you on mobile. Yes, I can. Okay, so I'll turn it around. You're not going to be able to see it very easily, but you can see this difference. So some obvious differences. My profile photo is over on the left on desktop, but it's right slap bang in the middle on mobile. My cover image, you can only see up to just above the top of my profile photo on desktop, but you can see all of it on mobile. So when you're designing things, remember this. Now I've got, again, my cheat sheet will show you where this bit is so that you can put the key things in this bit. Because if somebody's finding you on desktop and you've put the interesting part right at the top, somebody on desktop's not seeing that. There are some other nuances as well that the cheat sheet will tell you all of these things. So do not fear. But what you just want to do is have something really super interesting in your cover image and your profile photo. And then you want to have, so this is all about getting off the content creation hamster wheel and getting people into basically this program when it launches to the public. But everything that I have in my profile at the beginning of my profile all leads to this one place. Now, direct marketing, which is essentially when you're marketing to somebody, the best way to do it, in my opinion, lots of people's opinion, is to take the direct marketing approach, which means you can see the return on your marketing efforts. So you don't do anything with the hope that people are going to see it. Like if you run a TV advert, you've got no idea who watched that. When we do direct marketing, we want to know that people are taking an action and we can actually measure that action. So what we're doing is getting someone to do one thing. In direct marketing, you have one action you want someone to take. So in this case, I want them to join my VIP launch list. So my cover image is about joining the launch list. I give people reasons. It's time to get off content creation hamster wheel. You don't have to be taking hours, spending hours creating content. You just want to be able to put up the right posts that the right people are going to see and then fall into your world. So all of my marketing efforts revolve around what's the action that I want someone to take, what's the result that I'm going to give them, what's the teaser of why they need that thing, and then telling them to go and do it. So they need to click on my link. So you can have a link in your intro. You can have a link to your page. You can have a link in the second section of your profile information. So this is all the stuff over here that people see, regardless of what that you're posting over here. People will see this section over here. On mobile, to give you a slightly different view. So there's my picture and all that stuff, and then all the stuff I've just been talking about is just underneath here. And so I've got my one feature photo, and this is all in the cheat sheet, so don't worry, just go and look at the cheat sheet. You can see and you can just model. It's the easiest way to do it. But you want to make sure you've got that really interesting thing that's getting people into your world, and then everything that on your profile points to getting somebody to that thing. So the other thing to bear in mind is Facebook doesn't want you doing business from your profile. It wants you using your page to do business. So what we want to do is get people into our email list or onto our page as quickly as possible, because that's what Facebook wants us to do as well. So if you remove all of the mental trash from your info section on your profile, the only thing people can do is go to your page to read your posts, to find out more about you, to get into your email list, whatever it is. So remove all the other stuff. Nobody cares where you went to school. Nobody cares what you like. They care about themselves. So what can you do for them? What's the result you're going to get for them? What's the transformation that you're going to help them get? And then get them over there. So put these in there. The only thing that I will caveat that with is the followed by feature, which again, I'm going to do a little separate training. I'm going to post a video for you on how to add that, because social proof, you know this already, social proof works. We tend to read things that a load of people have liked or shared. We tend to go into the restaurant that everybody's queuing outside and not the restaurant that's empty, purely because everybody's queuing, so it must be good, right? So if you can add some social proof to your Facebook profile, which you can with the follow feature, and I'll teach you a little hack that happens with that. So once you turn on the follow feature, everybody who sends you a friend request becomes an automatic follow. So you can make this number nice and big without actually having to do anything. So that's why I've got like over 3,000 followers here. So streamlining your profile then takes people from, okay, they've clicked on you, they've gone to your social media profile, your actual personal profile, then they'll click over to your page. So if you're just telling them to click over to your page and you're only giving them links to click over to your page, they're going to click over to your page, and then your page can also model you. So it's essentially like you, but the business version of you. For me, there's no difference. Everything that I post on my profile, I would post on my page, because I am representing me and my business. People connect with people. People do not connect with nameless, faceless brands. And so I am the representation of my business. The only caveat for that is that I only do videos from my page, And when I do the live videos training session, I'll tell you exactly why, but I will always only do videos from my page because they are trackable. I can retarget people. I can see information about them. I can get to understand my audience. If I do that from my personal profile, it is like literally just throwing money away because you have none of that data, none of that information available to you. You can't do anything with that video. So say you did your best ever video and everybody loved it. And you thought, oh my God, this is the most amazing video that I can turn into an ad. You've done it from your personal profile, you cannot turn it directly into an ad. You've done it from your page, you can, and because it's already got all the social proof, it will be the best performing advert you have ever created, and the cheapest. I mean, I can get video views on my my live videos from my page for 3 to a penny, 3 to a cent. Now, loads of people go, oh, I can get a view for a cent or a penny. I can get over 3 for a view or a penny. So yeah, it's like 300 times more effective. So apart from videos, everything that's on my profile would be on my page, would be on my profile. So you get people over to your page and then they're getting into your world. So they're clicking on the exciting imagery that you've got. They're like, what is this? How can I get, I don't want to create content anymore. What can I do? So they click on the image and look, there is a link to get into my VIP list. So that is kind of demonstrating how this works. So you've created your profile. You're going to use my cheat sheet to make it super simple and easy for you. And then every time we're posting on social media, people are stalking you, they're clicking your face, they're having a little nosy on through. You know you've done it. Don't lie to me. You know you've done it. You know you've got 20 minutes later, where have I been? What rabbit hole have I gone down? You've stalked someone on Facebook. You've gone through all of their stuff. As long as the stuff on your profile is leading people into your world, then they will stick with you. They won't get distracted by somebody else because they'll be so interested in your stuff. So how do we get people to find your profile in the first place? Groups are probably the easiest way to do this. And also using your existing network. So everybody's got to start somewhere. And this is something that I've kind of forgotten until recently. So, and I'll tell you like how I remembered this. So I was going to do the training yesterday and I couldn't do it. Very ill from moving house, literally like unable to move yesterday. And I was listening to some training by a lady called Julie Stoyan, who was VP of marketing over at ClickFunnels, really big funnel building software, so website funnels building software. And Julie was VP of marketing over there, and she was doing some training. And to be honest, I've got all of her training, and yet I still continue to buy her things because she's good at marketing. And I also believe, and I know this to be true, that you attract the kind of buyer that you are. So if you're a really great buyer, you get really great buyers into your world as well. So I'm a good buyer. And I was listening to some of Julie's training, and it's stuff that I've already like listened to her training. As I do more training, I get better at doing training. I get better at teaching things. And so it becomes like a refining process. So you'll find that even if you've been through someone's stuff before, when they teach it again, there'll be some new insights and some new things, and they might find it a simpler way of teaching something, or it might just make sense with a different story. So don't ever feel like you've taught something once and that's it, you're done. You don't have to teach it to your audience again. You have to keep on teaching and keep on showing them and giving them different stories for the same the same thing that you're trying to teach them. You might have to say it in a different way, and then they'll suddenly get it. So I was listening to Julie, and she was talking about Russell Brunson doing this, and it was particularly about how to build your course. And she was saying how Russell Brunson, owner of ClickFunnels, multi-millionaire. ClickFunnels is now doing over 100 million a year, and they're only like 5 years old. So Russell had, as like end of last year, created something called the One Funnel Away Challenge. And I went through the challenge. It's only $100. And if you do go through it and through my link, of course, I'll give you a bonus. I actually have so many like cheats where people get stuck on the One Funnel Away Challenge is with the stuff that I teach, which is about social media. So I can help you with the fill your funnel stuff. But anyway, so I digress. Russell created the One Funnel Away Challenge, and it went against things that he'd taught in the past. So Russell teaches through his books that you build your audience first, and that you have to start a movement and have people passionately following you and be affecting the world right at the beginning. And then you build your funnel. when he actually realized you need to have your funnel, or in this case, your sales process, because not everybody has a funnel right now, but you have to have something you're selling and an end goal of where you want someone to go. And then you can work backwards from there. So if you try and build this powerful movement of hundreds of thousands of people from the beginning, that's a big struggle from people. And what Russell realized is that the way that he'd built his business was he built the funnels first, and then upon building them, then he built his movement. More than an audience, a movement is more bigger, passionate, trying to affect world change. And so previously he'd said, well, build your audience first, and then basically, find the people, find out what their problems are, and then create a solution to solve that problem. But for most people, starting out with this really massive vision and affecting world change is pretty hard. And so when he tried to teach people how to do that and then build some funnels, people struggled. But when he taught how to build the funnels first, how to have in our case, have your sales process first, and then get into how do we then fill our funnel, how do we then bring in our leads, it made much, much, much more sense to people. And so I'm telling you this because I have also had that same issue, that I'm looking back over how I've built my audience and how it is that every time I come out with a new product, I can sell it with a handful of posts. And I've never had that situation where people have crickets when they send out an email asking people to buy things. I've never had that situation because I've built an audience first. But I appreciate that when I'm looking back of how did I do that, I put things in an order where I'm talking all about how to build this audience without having taught how to actually have something that you're trying, like a process you're trying to get people to go through in the first place. And so a bit like Russell, I've realized that people need to have that foundation first. So that's kind of why the FB Foundations came about. It's because people need the foundation before you can build this massive audience, because there's no point having a ton of leads if you aren't selling something. Like, what's the point? You're not going to make any money if you can't actually sell the people who you've who you've brought into your world. So that's why we did the 2 weeks on the sales process first. So, and when it comes to actually getting people into your world, so we've done a little bit of like foundation work. We've worked out our sales process. We've now, after this, you're going to have built your your social media profile funnel. And then what you're going to do is now, when you're in groups, when you're on your own profile, when you're using your page, when you're creating posts, which I'm going to teach you a really easy way to do this. When you're creating posts, you've got all of the stuff set up so that people do their normal thing of starting to stalk you, and then they're coming through into your world, into your sales process, so that you can actually sell them, so you actually make some money, rather than what most people are going to teach you to do, which is just create a load of content and then what? We're not doing anything with those people. So we need to have the foundations first. Now, everybody starts somewhere. Your people, whether or not your profile is full of actual ready to buy buyers, or whether it's just full of your friends and family, you can start talking about your business, about your journey, about your business lifestyle. And even if you haven't got your ideal audience in your audience already, you're going to start growing it, because people that you know other people. I think it's like the 7 degrees. It might even be 6 point something degrees of separation now that we know the entire world, okay? And especially through Facebook, because 1.7 billion people are on there. Even if you don't have your ideal audience right now, when you start talking about your business, your journey, how you can help people, the results you're getting, your testimonials, all that kind of good stuff, then the people that you do know are going to know somebody who you can help. And so they're going to start sharing about it. Even if they don't directly share your Facebook post, which is the dream. But even if they don't do that, they're going to start talking about it. When people know what you do, and this is where it's really important to know how to say what it is that you do to other people. When people know what you do, then when somebody else talks about having this problem, when you're the person that solves that problem and you've communicated that to the world, then when this other person is talking about having a problem, then person number 1 is going to recommend you, because you're the person that solves that problem. So it doesn't matter if you've got a tiny audience, no audience at the moment, we will build it. But you need to have the foundations there first, and then start talking about the right stuff. So what is the right stuff? Now, if you are very new and you're not sure, and there are people in here who have started new businesses, my first recommendation is to use the magical world of Facebook and to go into groups and to go and read, literally start doing your research, go and read what problems people are having. Now, people will talk about service level problems, or they'll talk about some things. They might talk about their funnels not converting. They might talk about, so for if you're a wedding photographer, your audience might be talking about the fact that they can't find a photographer. They don't know who to choose. They can't find a wedding venue. They can't, whatever. So they're going to talk about some problems they have. What people are not going to talk about necessarily openly is the fact that they're not making any money in their business, or the fact that they can't afford certain suppliers for their wedding. So you have to learn to read between the lines. And this is why Facebook groups are so great, because people feel a little bit more comfortable sharing in groups, especially groups full of like-minded people. So you're going to go and target those groups, and you're going to just go in there for the moment and do some research and do some reading and find out what are the problems people are already having, and see if light bulbs start going off for you. Are there areas where you go, oh, I can solve that problem? I know the answer to that. And if there are, then help people out from a genuine, completely open, no hidden agenda place. Start helping people out in groups. Now, if you're struggling to find groups where your ideal client is, and this is why you have to go and do the homework and go and find out, figure out who is your ideal client. If you're struggling to find those groups, first of all, post around this video, because we might know the groups. But think about the fact that Facebook is still essentially a giant search engine, just like Google, just like YouTube. Okay, you can still search for things. So think about the words that people use when they're talking about the problems that they're having that you can solve. Think about the words that people use that identify them in your niche. So do they call themselves coaches? Do they call themselves network marketers or MLMers? Or work from home? What are the phrases that people are using? Not the phrase that you use, what are the phrase that they are using? I saw a very interesting post this morning from somebody who said, if I said I was a CRO agency, would you know what I meant without looking it up? And there were so many different answers on this thread that I can give the woman a resounding answer of no, nobody knows what you mean, which means if you call yourself that, nobody knows what you mean. So don't think about the words that you use, think about the words that they are using. So a bride-to-be, does she go looking for bridal groups? Does she go looking for wedding groups, or how to plan my big day? Just think about what those words are. Now, if you get stuck thinking about the words, you've never done this before and you get stuck, there's a really great Google Chrome add-on called Keywords Everywhere, I think. I'll double check. I'll give you a link to it. And you can install this add-on onto your Google Chrome. It's free. And every time you search for something in Amazon or on Google, Keywords Everywhere will tell you similar phrases that other people use that are kind of essentially the same. So what other people might be searching for. And then you can use that to create this big list of words that people that you are trying to target are already using. And then when you search for those words on Facebook, you're going to get, you can search by groups. So you can find the groups where people are. You can also see posts from people, public posts, posts from your existing network. Okay. And so you're going to go into groups, the relevant groups. If you get stuck, then you're going to post around here. We're going to help you. And you're going to go into those groups and you're going to go and do some research, first of all, to find out what problems people are having, how they are describing them. You can use their own words. This is the amazingness of Facebook. You can also start to stockpile a big old list of the phrases and the words and the terminology that people are using to describe their problems, so that when it comes to you putting out your offer or to saying things or to writing posts, you can use their phrases, you can use their words. And so when people read it, they have that moment of, oh my God, it's like you're in my head. How did you know that I was thinking just that? It makes it really, really simple. Honestly, this is like mind hacking 101. So go into the groups, do the research, and then if you have the answers, start answering questions. In 2 weeks or less, I promise you, if you do this every single day, which I'll give you a sheet so that you can do this. If you do this every single day, in 2 weeks or less, you can become the experts in that group for your thing. This is again why it's important that you need to know what your thing is. So what's the result you get for people? What is it that you want to be known for and as? And if you then start answering questions about that thing, people will identify you as the expert without any social proof or any testimonials or anything. Just because you know the answers and you're willing to answer, you will become the expert. It's really funny in the I'm going to say like the kind of events and on business world within the UK, within like entrepreneurial stuff, people have started identifying me as a ClickFunnels expert just because I talk about ClickFunnels, even though I don't go out there and say I'm a ClickFunnels expert. I just help people when they have questions about it. And then when people ask questions in groups like, does anyone know how to use ClickFunnels? Does anyone know anything about this? People inevitably go, oh, Sam's really great at ClickFunnels, go, and tag me in, or message her or whatever. So just by talking about it, I become associated with that key word phrase. And that's what I want for you, but you need to know what the key word is that you want to be known for. So answer questions, and then when you're comfortable answering questions, you can start posting in groups as well. So posting answers to questions. So if you see a question, answer it. But then perhaps you can go into more detail in a post. And I don't want you to do what I see a lot of online marketers do, which is you kind of give like half an answer and then say, and if you want to know more, I've got a course on that. Because that's not what people are on Facebook for. They want help. They need help. If you start giving from a really good place and you start giving without expecting people to go and buy your thing straight away when they've not even met you, then you will build an audience of people who genuinely see you as a good, authentic person, rather than the, oh, I've got a course that answers that, because these people don't know you. And so they're not going to buy from you straight away. You have to build some goodwill first. You have to get them from they've just met you, to liking you, to knowing you, to trusting you, to buying from you. And so you do that by actually answering questions. The more detail you give, the more people are going to think that you know what you're talking about. And so they're going to see you as the expert. So those are my tasks for you today, is to create your social media profile funnel. That includes your personal profile and your page. Make sure you know where people are going. I'm going to give you the cheat sheet so you can look at those, model those, do whatever you want. But I would suggest you model, because it's an easier place to start from, and then you make it your own. You don't copy, you model, and then you make it your own. So it's always easier to start from something than starting from scratch. I even heard Michael Hyatt, the mega it's difficult to work out but like the guy that's the most organized guy I know, who's written the book on like being organized and having amazing systems in your business. Even he says it's easier to start from a place of like modeling an email. So he gives out his one of his freebies is stock answers to will you come for coffee with me. And so he says it's easier to start with something, model it and make it your own, then, and he didn't use those words, but those are my words, than it is to the cheat sheet that I give you and then bring people into your world. You've got 2 weeks from now. I'm going to make you become the expert in those groups, but you have to know who you're targeting. You have to know what words you want to start being associated with. Got to go in there, read, research, get a feel for your person and feel for what their problems are, and then start answering questions and posting really detailed answers to those questions as well. Or even things like, if somebody's asking a question about something and you know they're really asking about something else, then ask about the something else, answer the something else. You don't always have to be the oracle and the person with all the answers. You can be the person of, I had this question and this is my thought, but what do you think? Because everybody loves to help. Everybody loves to give their opinion. So use that to your advantage. And so go into groups and start doing that, and start talking about those kinds of things on your own personal profile and your page as well. So if you get an email or an inbox, so like a message in your Facebook inbox asking a question, rather than answering that question to that one person, take that question and make it into a post so that all the people get to see it, and then send a message to the person and say, hey, I answered it in this post here. And so you can quickly start to reach more people in the right way. So not just building an audience full of anybody, but building it full of the right people for you. Okay, so let's go to the questions that we have here. Dave says, it's happened to me all the time, so many hours wasted on networking coffee meetings. Absolutely. And the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I used to go to those exact same meetings and have the exact same one-to-ones with people, and then realize that there wasn't any synergy, and like, that's okay, but you don't know because you've only got the time to spend with the one person. Whereas when you start using social media properly, you can reach so many more people. And that's what we're gonna do for you, Dave. Do not worry. So Anne asks, are we talking about our personal profile or our business page? If we're talking about the profile funnel, both. So most of the time, people are going to find you on your personal profile first, because in groups, you interact as your personal profile. Yeah, I know that now you can join a group as a page, but the group admin gets the choice about whether pages can join, and most of us say no. And also, when people join as a business page, it comes across like you're hiding. Why won't you let us see your personal profile? What are you hiding? What are you keeping to yourself? That's how it feels. I've read the posts and the comments about this kind of stuff in groups. So if you join as your personal profile, everybody knows that it's you, and so they're going to join and connect with you. Whereas if you join as a page, people think that you're hiding. And of course, in business, you do not want to do that. So your profile is where people are going to find you, and then if you can get them through into your world, whether it's into your page or your email or whatever, as quickly as possible, that's why we need to set up our profile funnel, because we need to get people from our profile into like our business world as quickly as possible, rather than them almost skimming off the lake where they see you, nothing of interest, and then they move on to the next person. You want to hook them in. So as I said, I've got a cheat sheet that's going to show you how to do that. And Craig's replied to you anyways, personal profile. So Dave's put keywordseverywhere.com. You've given the link for everybody. That's really, really useful. And you are looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this as well. So homework today. 1, set up your personal, your profile funnel, your social media profile funnel. And remember, the strategy works on all social media platforms. It works the best on Facebook because Facebook's where more people are, and there are groups on Facebook. There aren't groups, well, there kind of are on LinkedIn, but there are far less people on LinkedIn. And Facebook, people are more used to being their true, authentic, real, natural selves. Whereas on LinkedIn, everybody's still got this, I must be professional. And so it's not so authentic. It's more kind of keep everybody at arm's length rather than make real connections. And the way to really grow your business is to treat every single person in your audience like a very special person, and to actually make a connection with them. And even if you're making connections one-to-many, you're still making connections with people. And on Facebook, people feel like you're making a more personal connection than if you're on, say, for example, LinkedIn, where it feels a bit more like a professional business connection. And then Instagram is really, really good. Don't forget, first of all, it's owned by Facebook. So things you do on Facebook, you can do on Instagram. But there's less of a community feel on Instagram, which means people aren't always so quick to open up. Whereas when you've got groups, Facebook, people open up, they share stuff, they share possibly too much, but you can see what the problems are that people are having, and then you can, yes, I can solve that. And so you're helping more people by really getting into what their problems are. Dave puts, homework's never been so good. Woohoo! My son's got homework at the age of 4 from his school. It's just reading, but I was shocked. But now I'm giving you homework, so I'm glad that you're enjoying it. So profile, go set that up. Profile funnel, I've got the cheat sheet for that. Go and download Keywords Everywhere. It's really useful, and it's really interesting as well because it gives you the cost per click for all the keywords you're using. So you can see actually that if the niche like target keywords that you're picking, whether they are actually really competitive or not. So it's just useful. Everything's useful. So do your profile funnel, go into groups, and then start answering questions and being useful and giving value to people. And you're going to quickly see whether or not there's 2 things going on, like the way that you communicate what you do, whether it actually is hitting home with people, and if they're resonating with it and going, yes, actually you can help me, but also you're going to see that is it something that's really valuable, because lots of people spend loads of time creating courses or creating a product. I saw an old friend about a month ago, and he's working for a company and they've spent over £1 million, so more than dollars, £1 million developing this new technology and they don't have any customers, any beta customers or anything, they don't know if it's even going to sell, and they've spent over $1 million on it already, which is nuts. So don't be that person. You can see really easily with Facebook groups, with Facebook, whether or not what it is that you do, whether other people find it valuable. So go into the groups, go start doing your, giving your value and doing your research, figuring out what's going on in people's heads, and then seeing how you can help solve that problem. And so go do that. You've got until the dawn of end of time to do it, but if you can do it by Thursday, then if you come on the coaching call with us, we will be all together on the coaching call. Dave will attest to how awesome it was last week, and what we'll be doing is we'll actually be going through any hiccups and holdups that you've got, seeing really how we can make sure that you are getting results and actually taking action, but getting results as well, and seeing if there are any blockages in your sales process, in your funnel, whatever it is, and figuring out how we can maximize the things that I'm teaching you so that you can actually get the biggest results from them within the next 6 weeks. So go away, go do your homework. I will see you on Thursday, and regardless, have an amazing day today. Bye.